What's going on, y'all? Electric Being. I'm here to teach you a new lesson today, and a very interesting one at that. I hope you guys are paying attention because I know what you see on your screen right now. That ooh wee, that loud, that Mary Jane, okay? Now, the reason why I wanted to come and talk about this particular topic is because I've been doing a hell of a shit ton of research, okay, on this damn plant. I done seen so many videos of people asking, is marijuana bad? Why is it bad if God said that he gave you everything that you need on this earth, including the seeds and everything else that which spawned the marijuana? We didn't start it, God did. Blah, 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 going back and forth. Is it good, is it not? And I actually wanted to come and do research and not just give my goddamn spiritual opinion on it, but to actually show you guys how this particular plant is in affecting the body, okay, as well as how you guys are pretty much under attack. Okay. I'm gonna say that the men are more susceptible to having side effects more so than the women when it comes to this particular plant, okay? I'm going to explain why. You're going to see the slides change with actual information on it, with research from scientific peer-reviewed articles, as well as surgeons who done did articles and all kind of things on here, okay? Because this is part of the reason why my boyfriend is still in the hospital, despite us healing literally 75% of his other ailments through my medical knowledge that I've acquired over the last 10 years, okay? And that was dealing with the dehydration, okay? That was dealing with the infection of the mouth from the teeth, okay? That was dealing with the bad eating habits that we had in the beginning when we were like in our early 20s and such. And so through this came the last part, because this is the last thing that he refused to give up, because he does not believe that the doctors are telling him the truth when they are telling him that the weed is the cause of his problems, despite the emergency room doctors telling us that more and more of you young men, she didn't say women, okay, not saying it's not happening to women, but there are more young men being admitted into the hospital, okay, for vomiting like symptoms, okay, that come to the body like a cycle, okay? You're gonna see that definition get ready to come up on the screen in like just a second, but it's important for you guys to know what the hell is going on, because all of y'all want to smoke this Mary Jane, all of y'all want to run to the dispensaries, all of you guys want to grow it, but if you don't know what you're doing with nature, you're gonna fuck yourselves up, okay? This is typically what you're seeing, the vomiting that people are going through. They can't control it, they're sweating. Next thing you know, boom, you're in a hospital, hooked up to all kind of shit. So what is cyclic vomiting, okay? Let's go over it. Cyclic vomiting syndrome is characterized by episodes of severe vomiting that have no apparent cause. This is where the guessing and the estimating starts happening in the fucking ER room, where you become a test subject, okay? They're gonna blame it on everything else until they keep seeing this shit in your urine, okay? When you go to the ER room, they take your urine sample because they want to know if you're lying to them about taking any type of illicit drugs, or if you may have overdosed yourself or done any type of thing that you may be ashamed to tell them. They're going to find out through your blood and through your urine. So those are the two things that they're going to take right off the bat as soon as you come in. Next is usually the CAT scans that they give you, and make sure that there's no actual obstructions in your intestines and everything. Make sure that it's not a physical issue that you're having. They're checking your appendix, they're checking all of this shit, okay? If everything looks normal, now they're gonna come back and start talking to you about some other shit, okay? And usually when they found his blood originally, he would have a high white blood count, but we linked that to the infection that was going on in his mouth from a bad root canal that he didn't follow up on 10 years ago, okay? And we started healing some other things, okay? We done changed the diet 1,000 times. We done been vegan. We done did it all, okay? So this is literally the last piece of the puzzle that he refuses to give up, because no doctor is sitting there explaining to him how this shit is affecting his life and why they keep saying that the marijuana is so bad. I found out that the doctors are saying it's the marijuana that they're creating today that's causing cyclic vomiting, okay? As you can see, all right, they say that the episodes are all similar. That is true, okay? They start at the same time of day usually. That is facts, okay? They last the same length of time. That is pretty much true. Okay, and occur with the same symptoms and intensity. Okay, now depending on how often you smoke and how potent you smoke may probably affect the cycles of what's happening to you. Okay, but I remember telling him, I said, the symptoms that you're showing me right now with the vomiting, the balling up on the floor, the not being able to walk, the sweating, all of this shit is like a female on her cycle, on her menstrual cycle. Okay, if you've had a terrible ass cycle, you know what the fuck I'm talking about. This shit can get terrible for you, okay? And usually, sometimes women experience what's called toxic shock syndrome as well, okay? Where your body's just so overwhelmed with toxins, or sometimes you leave the tampon in too long, or whatever the hell it is, your body goes into shock, and you just start feeling like you're gonna fucking die. That's what the hell it feels like, okay? Now, usually when he gets to that point, that's when I take him to the hospital, because at that point he can no longer hold down water. His body starts acting like it's going to shut down on him, and I'm scared of dehydration issues, because that's how my grandmother died. Okay, so if you can't keep down water and you're sweating, okay, you're dehydrating as you go along. This can start to affect your fucking kidneys. This is also why I'm talking to you guys, because he's done experienced renal failure before. Renal failure has to do with your kidneys. Okay, if you keep fucking around with dehydration, you will fuck up your kidneys. Alright? I'm letting you guys know right the fuck now. This cyclic vomiting syndrome is not just caused by weed. It can be caused by stress, okay? And a whole host of other things, okay? Not eating the proper foods, all kind of things. Please go look more into the cyclic vomiting syndrome, okay? I want you guys to educate yourself. But moving on. I wanted to know if he had a hormone imbalance, because I said the way that you're reacting, like I said, like a female on a menstrual, deals with hormones. Usually we're fine all month until that fucking period comes and your hormones start to change, and now you're dying. Okay, so I associated it with hormone imbalance. I said he should go see an endocrinologist. An endocrinologist will test your hormone glands to see if you're producing the right type of hormones and the receptors are working for all the parts of your body that receive the hormones, and deal with them, okay? But he did not do that, okay? He did not follow up with what I said about going to an endocrinologist so they could test him. I could come up with the theory, but I don't have the tools to test you. You get what I'm saying? So this is what made me get him to try to get more serious. I started telling him about how a woman said that smoking was feminine, right? And at first I thought she was just talking shit, until I actually went to go look at why she was stating that the reason for the smoking is feminine, okay? So he and I first went over all of the plastic bottle issues. I was telling him why I took him off all of the lotions and all this other shit that we were using at the store, because they were full of chemicals and xenoestrogens and all the other shit. So I had started the process a while ago to limit the amount of estrogens that could be coming in through diet, as well as the products and stuff that we're putting on our bodies, in and on our bodies, okay? Here's a list for you guys to look at. I've talked about xenoestrogens before, but now you're looking at them. Okay, this is other ways how that shit sneaks in and fucks up your hormones. And this is why some women also become estrogen dominant. Okay, because you're using products that are filled with estrogen, you're eating high estrogen foods, and even though you should be estrogen dominant as a woman, you should not have so much estrogen that is fucking up your body and causing tumors and all kind of other things that maybe start causing you to have problems, okay? Now, in order for me to find out what was so feminine about the plant, I had to go back and I had to do research, because all I keep hearing from older people are them saying that the weed of today is nothing like the weed of yesterday. Okay, and I'm not talking about literally yesterday, I'm talking about from their time. So I had to go back and do some research to find out, besides the potency, what the hell is so different and what is making this a feminizing act. Okay, so this is an article from Leafly that I found. They do a lot of cannabis research and such or whatever, and this is the topic that came up on here. Why is cannabis now so different from the cannabis in the 70s? Because we've been smoking it the whole time, right? Right. Okay, so the article is going on to state pretty much that a lot of the marijuana that Americans were consuming, in conjunction to us trying to grow our own marijuana at the time, was flown in by cargo planes, trucks, brought in on boats, all kind of shit, mostly from Colombia, okay? So by the time it got to America, all right, the potency of it was pretty much gone, all right, from pretty much the time it took from to get to Colombia all the way to America. And we got pretty much Colombia's leftover. So it wasn't just the entire leaf that we were smoking at that time. We were getting the sticks, okay, the stems, the leaf, the flower. It was a whole conduit of the actual plant, not just the feminized part, which is the flower that we are used to seeing when we go to the stores, pretty much at this point today in time. And so that actually plays a huge difference as to how this is going to take effect in the body. So right now we're talking about using more than just the flower of the plant. Back then they actually rolled up all the components of the plant, okay? The potency was different than it is today as well. So those two alone are two major differences of yesterday's tree or weed to today's, okay? As weed became more popular in use among the American people, so did raids. Of course, they're gonna come steal your product now that it's here. If you look, it became 57 to 67% more potent, okay? And as more raids started to take place, pretty much they were trying to figure out what was the point of the potency and how did they get to that point, pretty much, okay? So they started studying the weed that they found during these raids, okay? Out of all the weed that they were studying at that time, out of the 72%, only 50 to 60% of it was coming from Colombia at that time, y'all. So that means that people had started growing their own weed at some point, okay? That typically became prevalent around the 80s when they found out that people were beginning to change the potency of the weed by growing it on the home front, which was reducing the amount of transportation time, which was allowing it to keep its potency as well. Now, y'all should all know that every time they discover some new shit, here they go having to study it extra hard, they can never leave it as a whole. It has to turn into an isolate, okay? So now what you're seeing is that once the scientists realized that the flower, the feminized part of the plant, was the most potent, okay, they started extracting that part. You were no longer smoking the entire plant anymore. You were now only smoking the feminized part, which is the flower, okay? Because we have now increased the potency on top of the part of the plant that is used, it has created pretty much feminizing effects showing up within the body, okay? This is more easily able to be spotted in men, mostly because you guys are supposed to be testosterone dominant. So, coming up, can smoking weed give you man boobs? Now, this plastic surgeon office did an article pretty much explaining how since recreational marijuana became legal in Colorado, that there's been an increase in plastic surgery among men due to them having issues with fatty breasts, almost like women. Even if they're working out, which is very interesting. So they started doing studies to find out why it was affecting men aged 18 to 35, okay? And they found out some interesting facts. Okay, so by definition, gynecomastia is not caused by excess fat developing on a man's breast, but actually is the result of changing hormone levels that can have a variety of triggers, leading to the excess development of breast tissue. Okay, so this is not fat. This is actual breast tissue that is actually showing up and developing. Okay. Now, usual causes for this type of condition, okay, are listed above. Take a look. Infancy, puberty, old age, okay, because your body changes, okay, throughout this time 3 times. From the mother's estrogen that you share as an infant, puberty, when you're getting ready to change into a grown man, and old age, when your testosterone starts to drop. The alarming concern for this is because usually what happens to men in older age is happening to them in young ass age. Y'all are balding. Some of you got erectile dysfunction. God forbid if you're doing this and other drugs and other things like alcohol on top of a shitty ass diet, okay? All of those are reasons why you could be honestly having an issue at your early age, okay? And also ending up in the hospital with cyclic vomiting. Now, what they're believing is happening is that the THC is triggering estrogen stimulators. So now, instead of your body producing the normal amount of estrogen that it should be, it is stimulating the body to produce estrogen on top of the xenoestrogens that we talked about earlier, okay? And also could be decreasing your testosterone production on top of sedentary lifestyles, okay? So that is a problem, you guys. Take that into consideration. Read, study, research. These are the things that they are not going to tell you unless you're actively going out to read these type of things and stuff for yourself. Or maybe you have been to the hospital and they keep telling you that they don't know what the fuck is wrong with you, but you're in there every goddamn 2 to 3 months. And they keep telling you nothing's wrong. They're not finding anything on your tests. This could be a reason why you need to look more into this marijuana. And again, I'm not saying that marijuana is bad. What I'm saying is that when you do not take things in moderation, anything, especially something that has been 57 to 60% increase in potency that is fucking with your hormones, needs to be looked at, okay? Go to an endocrinologist, okay, if you are one of these type of people who are experiencing hospitalizations and don't know what the fuck is wrong, and get your glands tested to see if you're even producing enough testosterone for yourself. Women, you saw the chart, you know where to find out if you're estrogen dominant. You should go see endocrinologists also if you're sick constantly and they're telling you that they can't find shit wrong with you neither, but you ain't seen no endocrinologist as of yet, okay? It is really sad that they're not telling people this. So they got you guys running to go smoke all this flower part of the plant, okay? Another fucking isolate in society that they done released and did not tell you all the conditions of what happens with fucking around with an isolate, okay? And here you are wondering why the fuck your body is feminizing itself. The girl didn't lie. She actually told the truth as to saying that smoking is a feminine thing. All right, look into it. Thank you guys. Peace.